So we're just trucking along these days for the group, and we are moving on to day 2, which is meal planning. So really quickly before we get into that, I just want to let you know that I had an insanely rough day, and dealing with a bunch of lady issues on top of a teething 1-year-old is just horrific. So if any of you mamas out there are dealing with the same thing, I got you. That's why I'm in my Christmas jammies. Yeah, because they're my favorite and they make me happy. So, all right, meal planning. So, yesterday we set up budgets, and if you haven't done so, I really encourage you to go back and set up your budget because that is going to be the foundation of everything that we do in this group. So, everything that we talk about is going to go back to your budget and what do you have set aside for certain things. So, in that correlation, we're moving on to meal planning. So, what you're going to want to do is take your grocery budget that you have set aside and you're wanting to implement that into your meal planning. So, this is either going to be the bane of your existence or your best friend. And currently in the position I'm in, it is both. And it can be very fun for my OCD side, but very horrific for my sanity. So if you don't know, I'm actually in the process of doing body competitions, and I'm in prep mode completely for that. And so my meals have to be very strategic and planned out, and I prep everything on Sunday, and that's all that I eat all week. So I have honed down this process and we'll bring it to you in hopefully 5 simple steps that will help you plan your meals accordingly. So, for instance, my grocery budget every week is $200 for a family of 5. So, I take my grocery budget and I just take one couple hours one day and just plan it out like a crazy person. So here's my 5 things that I want to relate to you to make it a lot easier for you. It doesn't have to be daunting. It doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be tedious. It's just, that's what I make it. So the 5 things. Number 1, write it out. That is so key in planning, grocery shopping, prepping, sticking to it. Write it out. That is huge. I literally just carry a notepad around with me while I'm meal planning. So, along with that, I literally just carry this bad boy around while I'm figuring out what do we have in the pantry. If I pretty much look in there in the pantry and I see okay, we have this left over from last week. What can I make into the meals for next week? So I'm not buying completely new foods, and I'm not wasting what I have in the cabinet. So therefore I'm saving some money, and hopefully I don't hit that $200 mark, which is always the goal. I feel like it's just a challenge every week, don't hit the $200 mark. So that being said, number 2, make a plan and stick to it. So that last part is the hardest part, sticking to it. So again, I carry my notepad around with me. I go through the cabinets. I look at what we have. I know what we need for the week. And so I pretty much just say okay, we still have pasta sauce in here for whatever reason. So for pasta night, I don't need to get 2 jars of pasta sauce. I only need to get 1 jar of pasta sauce. So therefore I'm saving $2.12 because I know how much that is. So, yeah, and I do that with everything that we have in there. Okay, my daughter is 1, and she really likes those little yogurt melts. So I might have 3 bags in the pantry. So this week I definitely don't need to buy any because I have 3 bags in there. There's no way she can eat 3 bags in a week. So it's just looking at what you have and why reinvent the wheel? So why go through your week and create completely new meals for the week when you have stuff in there that can be used and therefore you're using the food, you're not wasting it and you're not spending any extra money, which is what we're doing in this group, correct? Yeah. So, with making a plan, there's a couple ways that you can go about this. You can either do an A, B, or A, B, and C plan, or you can do it kind of how I do it and do weekly plans. If you like variety, but you're still trying to keep it simple, I would definitely go with the A, B, or A, B, and C plans. So what you do is you say like, okay, for lunch on A days, I'm going to have half a chicken breast and a cup of green beans or whatever you're going to do. So that's A day. And then B day, you're going to have, I'm trying to think of what else I have for lunches. B day, you're going to have a cup of brown rice with a salmon fillet. So then you're going to take those days, and that's what you're having every day for lunch, and you're going to alternate the days. So Monday's A day, Tuesday's B day, Wednesday's A day, Thursday's B day, and you do that for 6 days of the week. Now, in our household, we know that Friday nights or Saturday nights, we're definitely going to be super lazy, and we're going to either go out or we're going to order in. I know, it's horrible. So, as long as it's within your budget, that's fine. So, like when I go grocery shopping, I know that we need 6 dinners. I need 6 lunches for myself, 6 lunches for my husband, 6 lunches for the kids, which my kids are pretty easy to buy for. My 17-year-old sister does peanut butter sandwiches every day for school. Done. And my little guys do like cans of SpaghettiOs split because they're 4 in 1. So things like that are super easy and they're super cheap. So yeah, that works. For my husband and myself, it's a little different. He takes the same thing every day. That's it. So he literally does his container of salad with his salmon in it, and then he does a container of brown rice with chicken. And if he likes to get spunky one week, he'll let me know and he'll switch it up. But it'll be the same thing every day for that week. It'll be a turkey burger sandwich with Swiss cheese. So it's very easy for us to say, okay, this is what we're doing for lunches, this is what we're doing for dinners, and this is how it's going to go. So same thing goes for our dinners. We might say, okay, this week we're going to have chicken and veggies 3 nights in a row, or 3 nights out of the week. And then for the other 3 nights, because I'm doing 6 nights, we're going to have a pasta night in there, which is a staple in our house. So we have a pasta night, and then I have 2 more dinners I have to plan for. So we can do a taco night, or we can do like pork chops and potatoes, or something like that. Like last night we did meatloaf and potatoes. So things like that are always good. And if you know that you are a smaller family, whereas I know that my entire family will eat everything I cook for dinner, and I very rarely have leftovers. If there's only 2 adults in the family, then make a little bit extra and use that for your lunch the next day. So you're not making an extra lunch. So you're kind of omitting that next meal. So that's another way to save money. So I know that there's a couple people that I know that actually do 2-week rotating dinner schedules, which I think is amazing, and I want to try to implement this myself. So literally, you have 2 weeks of recipes, and you just rotate through them. And so you will have taco night 2 weeks or 2 days out of the month, and that's it. And whatever else you do for that time, you do. And you only have that same rotating recipe 2 nights out of the entire month, which I think is genius. So that's something that I'll be implementing soon myself. So write it out, make a plan and stick to it. That's number 2. Number 3 is plan that grocery list, girl. So this is going to be another key factor in meal planning. When you meal plan, don't just write out your meals for the week and go into the grocery store and expect to remember it all or expect to just have it all magically fall into your cart. Even though I really wish that's how it worked, because that would make my life a whole lot easier. So, when you write out your meal plan, I am extremely OCD and a huge perfectionist. So, when I write mine out, I literally go through the store in my head and I'm like, okay, I go up this aisle and this is what I need and this is what I need from that aisle. And then I'm going to go down this aisle and I need milk, eggs, and this week we need butter. So then the next aisle I go down is over by the cottage cheese, sour cream, and shredded cheese. So I need this cheese for the week. I need a thing of sour cream. Sure, why not? Even we don't need sour cream, we need Greek yogurt. So, yeah, I just literally like map out the entire store through my head, and I write my grocery list in the order of the things I'm going to be purchasing. So when I go into the grocery store, which Erin will cover tomorrow, I'm literally taking my list with me, and I'm like, boom, in the cart, boom, in the cart, boom, in the cart. I'm focused with my blinders on. I know what I need for the week. I'm not allotting any extra spending or any extra things that I don't need. The only thing that we have bought in the last 6 to 8 weeks have been chips or dip or a pint of ice cream, because those are two things that we really love in this house. Other than that, if it's not on my list, it's not being bought, which is sticking to your budget. I can't tell you how many times that's helped us a lot. So, write it out, make a plan and stick to it, plan that grocery list out, girl. Number 4, take the food you love and make a cleaner version of them. So, say that you really love that Stouffer's lasagna, which is really good. But there's a way to make it and to make it go further, which we'll talk about more on the recipes day. But if you take the food you love, like the Stouffer's lasagna, instead of spending $10 on a tray, which myself would have to buy two and a half trays to feed my family, I make crock pot lasagna. So I literally buy 1 box of the whole wheat lasagna noodles. I buy a 16-ounce cottage cheese. I buy 1 bag of 2 cups of shredded mozzarella. I buy 1 jar of spaghetti sauce. I buy 1 pound of ground turkey meat, and I buy a bag of spinach. Everything in that recipe goes into that crock pot. I don't waste anything. The only thing that doesn't completely go in there is that bag of spinach, which I am then turning around and using for a salad at some point. Done. So things like that, and I've substituted ricotta cheese for cream cheese or for cottage cheese, which is healthier. Mozzarella instead of the 1,000 blends or something that they put on lasagna. Whole wheat lasagna noodles, which are a little bit better than the starch ones, and ground turkey meat instead of beef. So again, we'll cover more of that with the recipes, but if you use those things and you allot exactly what your recipe calls for, or you take what you have left over and save it for a meal for the next part of the week, or the next part of the week, you're going to save and you're going to stay within your budget. So write it out, make a plan and stick to it, plan that list out, girl, and take the food you love and make them cleaner. Number 5, and my last tip, because I know this is an insanely long video and I'm sorry. Number 5 is don't deviate from the plan. Let me repeat myself. Don't deviate from the plan. Deviation leads to failure. That's when you're going to blow your budget. That's when you're going to say, oh my gosh, how did I spend $250 instead of $200? And you're going to be sitting there reading through the receipt, and you're going to be like, how did I go over budget? How did I spend this much money? Don't deviate from the plan. You made a plan. You know exactly what you're eating for the week. You know exactly what groceries you should have because you wrote out your grocery list. And you should have walked through the grocery store and put everything into the cart that was on your list and nothing more. Don't deviate from the plan. That will lead to success and helping you make a budget for your groceries and sticking to it. I know it can sound crazy and I know it can be daunting, but you can do it. I promise. It's really not extremely hard. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So I will be posting a sample meal planner in the group page here. So you can print that off, you can scribble all over it, plan out your meals on it. It'll have your weekly meals on one side, and then it'll also have a grocery list on the other side. So you can put it all together and look at it while you walk through the grocery store. So again, I apologize that this video was so long, but meal planning it can be very tedious, and it can be scary, and it can be a big issue. And a lot of people have a really hard time meal planning. If you don't, more power. And way to go, girl. I'm proud of you. I'm really glad because it took me a long time to figure out how to meal plan. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them below. Tag Erin or I, and we can answer those for you. If you're having any trouble still planning out your budget, please let us know. Post in the group so someone can answer that and help you with it. And I am so glad that you are with us, and thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.